Morning, everybody. Rusty from the Rusty Razor got into the shave of the day. Today we're using Stirling's Naked and Smooth. Basically, it's just the Stirling base. No scent. So, good stuff. Alright, then I put in some Stetson. Yeah, it's going to be a Stetson shave today. So splash a little bit of Stetson in there. And now you got Stetson soap. Smells good. Alright. So we got the first use of the Wizamet Iridium blades with the Merkur 34C. So nice little combination first use. Gonna be sharp, very sharp. All right, so how's your day going? Hopefully it's doing better than mine. Yeah, tired. My eyes feel like they're full of gravel today. Yeah, I was out trimming my grapes yesterday. And when you're trimming things up, you know, they got the dust particles and all the other crap that's on them when you're snipping them off and you're yanking them apart. And yeah, like all kinds of stuff flying around. So I feel like, my eyes are gravelly today. And I had one, it's like, I'm glad it's like, I always wear my safety glasses when I'm doing that. It's like one went right across my face and right where my eyes were. I was like, oh, that hurt. Yeah. Glad I had my safety glasses on. So, which also are sunglasses too. They are, my daughter gets them from work. You know, she's an engineer. And she's on the job site. So all the workers, they produce sunglasses that are safety glasses. So you can be outside in the sun and still not be squinting. It's like kind of nice. She's just giving me a lot of pairs. I got probably 4 or 5 pairs that I have. So it's one of those things where she has clear ones and shaded ones, you know. And she's like, "Whoa, what do you want? You want some shaded ones or clear ones?" It's like, I'll take some shaded ones. I always wear them outside doing stuff. I even use them when I'm riding my motorcycle underneath my helmet. So yeah, it's like yesterday it was like a high of, what was it, 48 Fahrenheit? So it was a little chilled. Now the previous day it was, we had like almost 70 Fahrenheit. And so it was a little chilly, but it wasn't bad. You know, you wear a jacket while you're out there doing the work. I got enough grapes around the perimeter of my property to make about 5 gallons of wine a year. Usually make a Zinfandel or a rosé. Just depends on what I feel like doing. This last year, instead of making wine, my neighbor and I, we made, I gave her about half of them. And she made a bunch of grape jelly out of it. And normally you make grape jelly out of Concord. This is lacrosse, and which is a white grape, and Catawba. So that's a nice little, it's an interesting jelly. It's very sweet. I don't even add sugar to it when I make mine. Supposedly sugar free, but the lacrosse grapes are super, super sweet. So you don't need any sugar. And it is pretty good. But that's what we're doing yesterday, doing that. And I was trying to figure out why my ham radio outfit was the other day I turned it on and it's like, I'm not getting any signal. What the heck? What's going on? So when I was out trimming, one of the we had really strong winds. We're talking 67 mile an hour sustained winds. You know, those kind of winds, if they were been over water, and it would have been like a tropical storm or the beginning of a hurricane. Mid-latitude cyclone. But the winds pulled the cable out of the 239 connector coupler. It's like a pin that goes in and you screw it on, and it's like it yanked that out. So now I gotta run a drop cord around the house and take my soldering iron and all that fun stuff out there and repair the whole thing. I kind of jury-rigged it together. Now I can at least listen to the radio, ham radio. You know, I can bring signals come in, but SWR is really high because it's kind of grounding itself out. It's good enough for listening, but you can't broadcast. So, standing wave ratio is bad. So, I got to repair things. Happens every year. Something goes wrong. Usually wind. One year it happened, and I ran the drop cord up to the house top. I was up on the roof doing the work because it's a lot easier to repair it than to tear it all apart, put it back together. You know, and all I do is just snip off a little bit of the cable and start over. Put a new connector on. It's like my daughter was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm fixing my antenna." She's like, "Okay." So she climbed up there with me and it's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Neighbor was like, "What are you doing up there?" "No, I'm fixing my radio antenna." Okay. Looks a little dangerous. Yeah, it's okay. As long as I'm sitting I'm just sitting up there doing work in the sun. It's a nice day. Yeah, when you do stuff, it's like my neighbor, he has a laser engraver, so he does that kind of stuff. But he still thinks that having a radio that you talk to people around the world that's strange. Like, okay. I don't think so. But this morning, I woke up, the heat was on. It was like, we turned the heat back on. There was a period of time there it was like 70, 80 degrees. And then the weather changed again. This is Iowa. I don't like the weather. It'd stick around for a few minutes. It's going to change. So I kicked the heat back on, and just in case the temps did drop. And this morning when I got up, it was 24 degrees. Like, and the heat was on. I was like, So I'm sitting there eating my breakfast, and the heat was constantly popping on. So before I did the setup in here, I kicked the heat up to a few degrees so it would heat the place up, so it wouldn't start coming on during when I was doing my video. So that's one of those things. This supposed to warm up today up to about 40 degrees. We had a cold, high pressure cold system roll in. Yeah, that's the thing, is that you never put anything on, you never really plant stuff. Now, if you're gonna plant crops and stuff that are gonna take a while for them to germinate in the ground, yeah, you can plant. A lot of farmers, my one friend Dan, he's usually starts planting in about mid-April, especially when the ground starts drying out after the spring monsoon hits. And you can plant your corn and your soybeans. But I don't move any of my tropical plants out until usually mid-May. Because the number of times I've seen it in first week or two of May in Iowa, you get snow. So, yeah. It's like, hey, it's March and it's 80, 90 degrees. And then May rolls around and it's snowing. Never fails. Never trust it. But it doesn't mean that I don't go out and, like the last week or first week of May, I go and start buying flowers. I'm going to be planting around in all the pots and stuff, around the house. And if it does look like it's going to stay cold, or keep them in the grow room till it's warm enough, then I'll plant them. And also been following, because I love hummingbirds. I put out hummingbird feeders, and I've been keeping track of them. Right now, the hummingbirds have reached southern Missouri. They just came out of Arkansas and moving into Missouri. And usually about mid-April, you start seeing the hummingbirds. Usually it's about the third week of April the hummingbirds show up. And then you got the orioles will show up. We got orioles that nest in the tree above us. So every year they either come back to the same nest or build a new one, depending on the condition. The doves, we got a tree out front of the house here. It's a crabapple tree, ornamental crabapple, and we've had a family or two of doves will nest in that tree every year. And it's usually one of them builds the nest in the same spot, or comes right back to it because the nest hasn't gone away. And they'll nest in that same spot. And they're back and parking. It looks like the females are already probably laying eggs in there. So, yeah, I have 4 hummingbird feeders I put around the house. Got one in the front yard in the same crabapple tree, and then I got one in every, typically in front of windows. And so they're not in sight of each other, usually. Hummingbirds can be very territorial, because when you're reliant on a food source to stay alive, they fight over the food. So that's one thing I learned, is keep them out of sight of each other. So one can be feeding, or two can be feeding at once, and they're not trying to kill each other, running each other off. And my neighbor across the way, thing when I was talking about earlier, they have a couple feeders, on one in the backyard, one in the front yard. And you can sit there, be out there looking, and you see the hummingbird go from this one to this one to this one, back over that one. Neighbor down the street, he has a couple feeders, and one in the front yard and one in the backyard. And you'll see the bird just like over this one, over here, and then all of a sudden they come flying back here. They're just like making a circle, hitting all the feeders. It's when the weather's nice outside, you can sit in the lawn chair and read a book and watch them go. You know, they're after the feeder, and sit there and just get to eat to their heart's content. And then all of a sudden, it's usually a male will parks itself. We got the tree that's right here in the front yard, or the side yard, and this one male will sit there and be able to observe this feeder and this feeder. And then when someone comes to that feeder, they'll run them off. Whew. There's an affiliate link down below to the Razor Company, so if there's anything you need from the Razor Company, click on the link, and a little bit of kickback goes towards the giveaway. And I just looked at this morning, and we're at $5.93, so it's gone up a little bit from the last time I talked about it. So it's moving there. We'll get there. I was hoping that we'd be there already, but it's like 2 steps forward, 1 back type of thing, or 3 forward and 4 back at times, it seems like. But what can you do? The old Stetson cooling agent. I wonder if Sig still has a bunch of this left. So there you go, Stetson. I'll put some lotion on. My nose is starting to run. I'm running of the bulb. So that's the shave of the day. So the shave of the day is, the base was Stirling's Naked and Smooth. Excellent little soap, does the job. And then we followed up with some Stetson Splash. Yeah. And we had the first use of the Wizamet blades for a nice smooth shave, and with the Merkur 34C. Got the job done. So that's the shave of the day, everybody. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Rusty out.